everyone. My name is Atharva Praveen Guru. I am from BIT and today we are going to discuss about topic that is identification of different plants through image processing. In this we are going to different points such as what is image processing, examples of image processing, introduction to image processing for identification of different plants, application based on image processing, and project frameworks and identification of different plants and experimental results on this project and limitation, conclusion and references. First of all, we will start with the what is image processing. As image processing is transforming an image into a digital format, performing certain operation to get some useful information from it, is known as image processing. The image processing system usually treats all images as 2D signals when applying certain parameters. Signal process method. It involves that the uses of computerization algorithm for analyzing of an image with respect to an applications. So in simple words, the image processing is nothing but we are taking an image from a user, and by that image get we remove the output which is useful for us, and we analyze that image to get useful information from that image is nothing but the image processing. There are two types of method used for image processing, namely analogous digital image processing. Analogous image processing can be used for the hard copies like printouts and photographs. Image analysts use various fundamentals of interpretation while using these virtual techniques. The digital image processing technique help in manipulating of digital images by using computer. There are three general phases that all types of data have to undergo while using digital techniques are pre-processing, enhancement and display, information extraction. As you can see in the image, the image of leaf is given to taken by the camera, and it is it is digitally processed, and we are getting an image which is useful for us. For examples of image processing, in that rescaling of images is done using digital zoom. Then if suppose image is blur, then we can also remove that blur, so that procedure is known as correcting. And we can detect edges from the images and mathematical morphologies and evolution and ranking of segments algorithms. uh, so we will start with the introduction with our image processing, which is used for the identification of different plants. As we know that there are varieties of plants in our surrounding, and some plants are identified by us and some are not. So this technology can help us to identify that plants uh, which we are not knowing, and we can check the uses of that plant for humans or our day-to-day life, how that plant can help us. So going through the introduction of that is, image processing can be used to identify different plants through their leaves on basis of their shape, color and texture and features. In the This can be done by classification of the plant species using different machine learning algorithms. The process involves the reviewing multiple image processing methods using machine learning to identify multiple plants using its leaf features in the form of an image. So in this we use the machine learning algorithm to identify the plants using different image processing algorithm. The plants are basically identified by their leaves, because the plant can be identified with their leaves or the variety of tree grown, or the color or the flowers. On this basis we can identify the plant on this basis or on these features we can identify that plant. And then we can there are different machine learning algorithms used for uh, identifying the plants, but from them some of these are including vector support machine, is also known as SVM, random forest, FRF, then nearest neighbor KNN, the neural network NN, and the K nearest neighbor KNN. These some of these are the sum of the algorithms can be used to classify plant species based on their leaves, color, or the textures of the plant. This can be used, but most of the accurate machine learning algorithm for plant identification is difficult to determine which machine learning algorithm is suitable for identification of that plant. It can be variant depending on this specific data set. The feature used for classifying that plant. However, some studies have found that support vector machine can be provided better accuracy in the identification of plant species through these leaves. And in this PPT, we are uh, going through same SVM algorithm, which is helpful for plant identification. So see here the leaf structure. To identify the leaf, first we have to know the structure of that leaf. There are very different structure of the, as you can see in this image, there are very different kind of leaves structure. On that basis we are can identify that plant. Identifying that plant, if we are able to identify leaf, we can easily able to find that plant. So basic identification for that plant is the leaf structure. The leaf structure can help us to identify the plant. And the second thing is flower. If we there are different flowering patterns or the flower structure for the different plants, so on basis of flowers also we can identify that which type of plant it is. The application of image processing in plant identification of different plant, that is also one of the application. Then plant can be categorized in different types and species. And the future work can be done as disease can be detected and cause of that disease can also be detected using this image processing. So this image processing technology is very vast. From that we are studying about the identification of different plants. So not only we can identify the what kind of plant it is, we can identify the disease and why it is caused. This can also be detected by the image processing using SVM algorithm. So we can get track on the health of plant. Then the project framework for identifying different plants are in this we are using image acquisition, image pre-processing. In image pre-processing we are using grayscaling. As you know that grayscaling is nothing but the image is converted into black and white. So it is converted into black and white. Then second thing we are using filters. On that images we are applying different kinds of filters to check the structure of that plant or what is color of that leaf or that plant. So we are applying different features for filters for that plant. And smoothing is nothing but removing the unwanted data from that images, is nothing but smoothing. Image segmentation is also one of the process involved in this process. Then extracting of the features, classification, then SVM support vector machine algorithm we are using in this, and then result and analysis. So now we will discuss the first step, that was image acquisition. Image acquisition is nothing but the general aim of image acquisition is to transform an optical image into real world data into an array of a numerical data that could be later manipulated on the computer before any video or image processing can done. So most of the captured images are converted into the digital images are converted into arrays or the number for image acquisition. So it is helpful for the image pre-processing. So next step is our image pre-processing. First of all, I will tell you about what is pre-processing. The pre-processing is an important step in image processing and analysis. It involves pre-processing that image for further analysis by enhancing the quality and removing any noise or distortion from that images. So it remove the some noise means the if suppose we click the blur image, that blur image is it is converted into the clear, or it try to increase its pixels so that the image is not seen as blur. Some common pre-processing techniques include image enhancing, noise reduction, and the image restoration. And there are different pre-processing techniques used in plant identification that are including colors, then color space conversion, then cropping, smoothing, and enhancement. This technique can help to improve the quality of image and make it easier for the machine learning algorithm to accurately identify the plant species or the disease occurred by that plant. So pre-processing is also main part of the image processing, as it helps the machine learning algorithm to identify that plant. Then third step is image segmentation. So image segmentation is nothing but it is a process of dividing an image into multiple segments or regions, each of which correspond to different object or part of image. In this context of plant, the identification of image segment can be used to separate the plant from the background or the isolated different parts of the plants, such as leaves or flower. What what it does, it separates the leaf structure and flower structure separately, so that it can be identified what kind of plant it is. So image segment divides that image into multiple segment, small segments, to identify the that image or that plant. So how does image segment work in plant identification? I will going to tell you that. So in image segmentation can be used for separating plant from the background. This is one of the method, or isolate different parts of that plant, such as leaf, flower, or stem, that can be isolated from each other. And this can be done by dividing image into multiple segments or regions, as I told you, each of these corresponding to different objects or plant of the images. The end result of segment is binary image, where all the background pixels are set to 0, while plant pixels are set to 1 or 2. So the background pixels are why they are set to 0. To separate that background from that plant image, the background is pixels are image pixel binary image are set to 0, so that is why we get the plant image separated from that background. So there there are different image segment techniques used in plant identification. So some of these techniques include threshold based method, in which color space convolution and the deep learning approaches are used. This technique can help to separate plant from the background or isolate different parts of that plant, such as leaves or flower. Then fourth step is feature extraction. In feature extraction, the extracting relevant information of an image to represent its characteristic. In this context of plant identification, the feature extraction can be used to extract information about shape, color, texture, and other characteristics of that plant or its parts. This information can then be used for machine learning algorithm to find the species or type of plant which it is. And what are the different feature extraction processes in plant identification, that are image to represent its characteristics. Some of these are including shape, texture, uh, color or margin. These all characteristics are identified in feature extraction to to get the plant or the disease which plant is having. So feature extraction aim is to reduce the number of features in the data set by creating new features from the existing one, and so we get the original features. It is done for training as well as for the testing phase. The main purpose of identifying the maximum similarities between the training plant images and the testing images for accuracy improvement or lifting risk and speed up the train and improve the data visualization. In feature extraction, these all things are done. At last, step number 5, as we know that vector support machine algorithm is used for the image classification of the plants to identify the plant, what species that plant is. So further, as also value of this SVM is very high, as it give us the proper and specific information about the plant, which plant it is and its species. So in this last at we are going through the experimental result for the plant identification. The process and proposed methodology is tested with the different sample leaves images of different species and notice positive response in the most cases. The selected 20 features combined is further tested using one classifier with image processing with various techniques. The techniques or method listed below perform better plant leaf identification problems. As we know that image acquisition, then the pre-processing for the filtering. So then next third was the image segmentation, feature extraction and classifier, where we use support vector machine to identify what plant species it is. At the conclusion, in this technology of image processing, where we can identify different plants, or the further work can be done in this technology is that we can identify the diseases and we can give the cure by using these algorithms. We can also find diseases caused on that plant or plant health. We can track that plant health. So this is also one of the most useful uh, technology in our IT industry, that is image processing. So at last I end with this topic. Thank you.